Hello, morning, good afternoon, evening, from wherever you are. My name is Aiman. Thank you for joining for our day 2 of semester break program. So today we are going to have a forum called You Are the Boss, and I'll be your moderator for today. So my name is Aiman. I am a co-founder of Seeds Job Fair. We do online career fairs, basically. I guess before I start and introduce our speakers, I would like to inform a few of the house rules. Okay, so the duration for this session will be 2 hours. It will be a panel session for the first 1 hour and 15 minutes and 45 minutes for question and answers. You can type your questions in the chat box. So we will have the Q&A at the end of the session. But if you feel that you want to send us chat throughout the session, feel free to do so. There will be a chat button and a Q&A button at the bottom of your screen. And this session will be recorded and it will be available on both TalentCorp and Seeds Job Fair social media page. And also when you stop this video session, there will be a feedback form, and we will really appreciate if you can fill out the feedback form and tell us what you feel about this session. All right. So without further ado, I would like to introduce our first speaker. So our first speaker is Mr. Nadir. Hi Nadir, are you there?
Hello.
Switch on your video.
Switch on video? All right.
Yep. All right. Right.
Good
Okay,
morning,
so,
everyone.
Morning, Nadir. Nice to have you. So we have the man that revolutionized the logistic industry, Nadir Ashafiq. He is the co-founder of the Lorry and the business Level Up the Efficiency of Transportation. Nadir went through the ups and downs of startup life, but that did not stop him from persevering, leading him to his success today. Welcome, Nadir.
Thank you.
So next, I would like to introduce our next speaker, Nashra Zainuddin. Nashra. So Nashra is the influential mompreneur from the great community. Nashra needed to find ways to provide.
Yes, halo semua, Assalamualaikum.
Salam. So Nashra needed to find ways to provide for her family, and her hard work eventually led her to empowering fellow single mothers, housewives, and women. Welcome, Nashra. Nice to have you.
Thank you.
Last but not least, we also have the co-founder of Epic, Jane. Welcome, Jane. All right. So Jane is the co-founder of Epic, and Jane went through a humbling journey and rose to help build and rebuild homes for the poor and disadvantaged, while also leading volunteer groups to grow ideas and share life values together. So I feel very lucky and privileged to have semua orang kat sini because it is such a very experienced lineup that we have for today. All right, so we have a few questions. Tapi I think before kita start, I just want to make everyone feel a bit comfortable lah. So I still remember when I was in high school ke primary school that we had to fill up our ambition. And our top 3 ambition was that I put was astronaut, scientist, and bomber kot, I think. So maybe we can start by, as a child kan, what did you guys want to be when you grow up? So maybe we can start with Nadir.
All right. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good morning, everyone. So the question as to what did I want to be when I grew up, I think it was very clear. I still remember filling this in standard 1, which was to become quote unquote a businessman, a business person. Number 1, of course, you sort of I got inspiration from my late father who was a business person. So I guess that's how I filled in that particular occupation. And it was all the way until high school that the interest to become an entrepreneur, to become a business person grew. And this was accelerated thanks to the books that I've read. And what one of the books that really inspired me, and I guess you could say it's a bit embarrassing to tell you now, but Donald Trump inspired me. Right, Donald Trump created books, and his book Art of the Deal actually changed my life. right? Although some people say it was a con job, but it changed my life. So I don't know whether my life is a con, but it's inspired me to become an entrepreneur per se. And I guess I made a decision in Form 3, and Form 4 I did not take biology, I did not take chemistry, and also I did not take physics. So I took pure business subjects, i.e. perdagangan, ekonomi asas, dan juga prinsip account. So yeah, entrepreneurial all the way till the end.
From the start, all right, thank you. How about you, Jane? What do you want to be when you grow up?
Well, honestly, I think it changed every day. When I was a kid growing up, it started as a lawyer, big aspirations, zoologist, to very strange dreams of studying wolves in Canada. So I wish there was a very clear story into how I ended up where I am today. But really, I think it was just the excitement to try all of these different new jobs and learn from all these different experiences. And that was really what it was like growing up.
Okay. All right. Thank you for sharing. So, kalau you, Nasha, masa you kecil, what did you want to be?
Okay, actually, when I was a kid, I want to be a lawyer, same like Jean actually. And I went to law school, all right. I'm doing my foundation in law, but as time goes to, suddenly like we start to change like, actually, aku ni jiwa business lah, macam tu, okay? So, and I start doing part-time business, and I fall in love in business, and alhamdulillah, until today.
Okay, all right. Okay, so I guess so for me pun, I just graduated 2 years ago, and this is not how I planned my career to be. I studied actuarial science, and it just ended up in business lah, in entrepreneurship. So I guess my first question is to you lah, Kak Nashra. So you wanted to be a lawyer. Is this how macam you expect your career to be masa awal-awal?
Thank you, Nadia. Okay, actually, not really lah. Actually, first I want to be a lawyer because I'm inspired by my dad, because my dad also practicing as a lawyer, right? Then as time goes to, it started when I'm as a student, all right? I'm looking for a part-time job, okay? I'm looking for extra income as a student. So I joined a lot of MLM company that time. So I started selling MLM products, and after that I started in love with business because I think like business you can decide how much you want to earn daily, weekly, or even monthly. So actually dekat situlah sebenarnya orang cakap apa berputiknya cinta dalam business. Quite challenging, okay, tapi dia worth it to fight for.
Okay. How about you, Nadir? Because you were a banker once, kan? Ke I was wrong,
I was. So let's go through my life story for a bit, Che. My life story is basically after SPM, I went to study in Curtin University, Australia, where I had got a degree in accounting and finance, and then went on to do another close to 2 years of masters in finance, economic and finance. And then I went on to become a banker. And actually, during this part of my life, I was actually quite set in being in the financial field, right? I.e., my career path would be something along the lines of being a fund manager, right? So I was actually very interested in reading the works of Warren Buffett, Peter Lynch, and all these investment gurus. And I was very excited about the financial markets in that, it's a very exciting place. Value goes up and down almost on a daily basis, and you get that short-term gratification, by almost to a point of gambling, right? By being in the financial markets. But it was not until I guess throughout my financial career that I realized that being an entrepreneur is much more rewarding, right? Because when you're in the financial markets, you're not actually building anything. You're not actually creating an impact. You're just finding value and sort of reselling it to someone else and then sort of profiting from that. Tetapi when you become an entrepreneur, you're actually creating an impact. You're creating value. You're creating something new, something innovative, something exciting. So that's what really attracted me and to entrepreneurship. And I guess from 2013 onwards, I dabbled into entrepreneurship and never stopped.
All right, there you go. From
Your
banker
video
to
is still frozen.
Oh yeah, kejap, eh?
Yeah.
Okay. How about you, Jane? Is this how you plan for your career to be?
Well, if you don't mind, I will also share a little bit of background.
Yep.
So my mom actually comes from a little village in about 4 hours away from Manila. And one of my earliest memories of her village was, so we would visit it once a year. My family lived here, and we would visit my mom's place once a year. And one of my earliest memories was actually what their toilet looked like. And their toilet was essentially this very big hole in the ground with a dirt floor, concrete, and the roof and the door. The roof and the ceiling was made of a tarp that would sometimes blow open when you were inside it. And so I remember different family members being a little bit embarrassed about the state of their toilet when we would come over. And I remember being very young and having my grandma or somebody much older apologizing for the state of their house. And we would visit every year. And each year I would see how that toilet changed. How the toilet became from a huge hole in the ground to a squat toilet, how the dirt started to have tiles. I started noticing, then they brought in the zinc roof, and so that the toilet itself had changed over the years. And my family members would be quite excited. They would say, come and check out how we've extended the room. Come and check out the new garden that we've planted. Look at this tractor that we've been able to buy. And so what I noticed was it wasn't just that the house had started to change, but my family members had started to change too. And there was a sense of pride now. Come and see what's new. Come and see our house. It wasn't the house, but it was the people that were starting to change. And so years later, I found out that actually my parents were sending little investments back to the particular village. And the investments could be in the form of cement, or it could be in the form of seeds. It was whatever they needed at that time. But that allowed them to kickstart their initiatives and really grow their own little businesses and enhance their current businesses. And what we were seeing was the result of that change, the result of those investments to the village. And it wasn't just a change in the house, but it was really the people themselves. And in 2010, so I started actually in advertising and in training, but I had an opportunity I was invited to a particular village in Batang Kali. And in 2010, I met this man called Pak Chi Hong, who lived in a very dilapidated house. Mm-hmm. And in him, I saw my grandmother, and I saw my aunts, and I saw my family members in the way that they responded to their current state. So I just thought, together with my other founders, we thought, is there something that we could do that our parents did? Are we able to find a way to bring together resources and those opportunities for Pak Chi Hong to build a home for himself in a way that he can build, contribute to, and be proud of? And that was really the origin story for me.
I see. So in a way, all of you went through your own life experience lah to find that entrepreneurship journey. Okay, right. But so Nadi wanted to be a businessman from the start. Tapi okay, Nadi, becoming an entrepreneur, is it really for everyone?
I would say, after 7 to 8 years of being an entrepreneur, I would say definitely it's not for everyone. Okay, so what really sets a good entrepreneur, not a good I guess someone who is a bit more successful than the other, right? In terms of entrepreneurship, I think first of all we have to define what is entrepreneur and what is a business person, a businessman per se. I think a businessman just does traditional, not to say traditional businesses, but traditional activities, i.e., buying from one party and then selling to another party, right? So in the process, he or she is creating opportunity, but it's essentially doing trading, right? So that's what I would term as a business person. An entrepreneur, on the other hand, sees a problem and solves it, right? Sees a problem and solves it. And there's actually, it's actually very difficult to find a product that really has a real market need and really cures a certain itch. And in fact, if you look at why startups fail, and when institutions do a survey, they said that 50% to 60% of the highest reasons why startups fail or businesses fail is because there is no clear market need, right? So I think what really sets apart a good entrepreneur from the other is that realization, that sense of belief that you are actually creating something great, something that really solves a problem. Point number 2 is on perseverance, right? So I think I heard some keywords on perseverance earlier. I think what really sets apart, a good entrepreneur to a not so good one, I guess, is the quality of perseverance, the quality of not giving up, right? And it's easier said than done, really. It's really, really easier said than done. And there are, I used to joke before this, in the sense that people ask me, Nade, are you a successful entrepreneur? Have you achieved whatever that you want to achieve? I said, no, right? I said, I have not gone through a crisis, right? When I go through a major crisis where I'm left with my shirt and my trousers, and then I bounce back from that, right? Then you can call me a successful entrepreneur, right? And that really teaches you the quality of perseverance. But itulah, I made this, you can say, doa to myself prior to COVID. And I guess I got a little bit, a taste of what that was like during this COVID crisis. So during COVID, everybody was tightening their belts. It was not losing everything until you are, down to your shirts and trousers, but it was, I guess, it was a taste of a doom, right? So I think all of the successful entrepreneurs out there, they have gone through these moments, this valley of death, and I just wish that I don't go through those kind of moments in order to call myself a successful entrepreneur.
Thank you, Nade. Jane, would you like to add to that? Becoming an entrepreneur, is it for everyone?
Well, I think Nadia really explained it quite beautifully in terms of what are some of the risks involved, but also what are some of the payoffs. Is it for everyone? I think there are aspects of being an entrepreneur that is for everyone, in terms of building that perseverance, building that grit, building that curious ability to problem solve. I think those aspects of being an entrepreneur shouldn't be limited to entrepreneurship alone. It's something that everyone should be able to take on. But the ability to turn that into a business that is meaningful for other people, that requires a different skill set which you would need to build and hone along the way. But I believe that it's something that anybody can attain. Anyone can take on the journey, and it's not limited to those who have the right education, those who have the right financial resources, and those who have the right connections. I believe that actually, even if you don't have all of those three things, you can find them, you can build them, and it is accessible, especially in this day and age. So absolutely, I absolutely believe that it is for anyone.
So if anyone out there listening, it is for you, if you want to. And Nashra, so I have a question. So a lot of my friends now, they have a lot of macam side hustle lah, macam dia jual produk, and some pun buat food truck. But then they always stumble after first few months, and then they choose to do something else. So macam in your view, do you think that our current mahasiswa lah, do you think that they have what it takes to be a successful businessman or entrepreneur?
Right. So Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So basically, I'm also still studying. I'm continuing my MBA. All right. It's a training program with University West of Scotland. All right. So weekends I study, weekdays I buat business. Okay. So basically, we're talking about current graduates nowadays. Okay. First of all, basically kita dah belajar dekat at university, we learn basically theory part tentang business, everything in business, sales, marketing, things like that. But actually, it's different compared to reality in doing the business itself, right? And Number two is the impact of this high-tech technology, social media. Now this juga is different compare like 5 years back, like 10 years back, compare dengan sekarang, which is like kids 9 years, 12 years, 17 years pun dah ada business kat Instagram, like jadi Insta famous. It's like, wow, so I'm so impressed with that, right? So, but benda ni kita dah ada basics, theory and our backup by our social media. But the things yang we need to really focus on is the mindset, okay, which is the mental warrior, alright. Benda ni yang sangat-sangat penting, mental warrior, mindset to win. Mindset to win tu, at first you join the business, sudah ada mindset to win dah. Mindset ni mesti menang, this kind of mindset. And I do believe, right, sama ada you pandai ke, you tak pandai ke, tetapi pandai tak pandai tu semua boleh belajar. But the most important is you punya mindset tu, it's not about orang tak percaya dengan you, but it's about you percaya dengan diri you. So if you have these thoughts, insyaAllah, I do believe you're going to fly high. Doesn't matter you pandai ke tak pandai ke, it's okay. I think you're going to fly high if you have this kind of mindset.
And I think that applies to a lot of things in life juga. So you have to believe in yourself first lah. Tapi I think Nasha mentioned something interesting about dekat university you belajar theory and it might or might not translate to the real world lah. And I do agree yang the warrior mindset, the win mindset to something that you must have. So I think I want to throw that question to Nadir lah. Do you think that the mindset do you either have it or you don't, or can it be dipupuk lah, you say?
I think in terms of the mindset for entrepreneurship can definitely be honed, right? In the sense that, you know, skill sets such as marketing, understanding the opportunity, understanding the landscape, and marketing to the correct target segment in terms of operations, in terms of SOP, in terms of financial management, cash flow management, and in terms of understanding creating beautiful products. I think those are elements and those are skill sets that definitely can be taught, right? Those are tangible stuff that can be taught to anyone who seeks it, right? Suddenly, for some reason, the Dumbledore's quote is in my head now. Apa dia kata help will come to hawkers for those who seek it, right? But the intangibles, right? The intangibles such as perseverance and grit and communication skills. I think those are stuff that it's a bit tough, I guess, to learn. I think it will some people will have more of those than the other, and that could serve as an advantage when it comes to building businesses. Sorry, because I've been watching Harry Potter over the weekend.
Oh, okay, no wonder. How about you, Jin? Do you want to add to that about having that winning mindset?
Yeah, there was something about something Nasir said was you need to be able, or the summarizing of that is believing in yourself and your ability to be able to persevere. I think it's also important. It's important to note that the work isn't just in the products and the services, but a lot of the work as an entrepreneur is truly in yourself and the way that you handle the stress, the way that you handle uncertainty. These are aspects that make entrepreneurs successful at the end of the day, because crisis will happen. Look at COVID-19, nobody could prepare for this. But it's how you are able to bounce back and adapt to that very quickly, which will be the difference between why your business would be able to survive and thrive versus become maybe stagnant or even, unfortunately, decay and die. So I absolutely believe that the mindset is a huge component of entrepreneurship, and it's something that perhaps isn't addressed as much as the tangible aspects of, marketing skills, communication skills, digitizing skills, etc. I also think there's another layer to that, which is you need to have a support system that also believes in you. So whether it's your friends, whether it's your family, whether it's a community that you're plugged into, they will, if you struggle on your own, find those resources who will help you reframe the thoughts that you have in your mind, and don't keep it in. Bounce back, share ideas, talk to people. That is the best way to start building different perspectives and strengthening and reworking the mindset that you may be struggling with at this moment in time.
Yeah, I definitely agree with the support system, because I think entrepreneurship can be a lonely journey at times. So my next question is about how did you attract your first few customers? And I think I want to direct this to Jane first, because I think your business is a little bit unique because you work a lot with communities, and also there's another aspect of making the business model work. So maybe you can share with us a little bit, how did you first acquire these customers or these stakeholders when you first started out?
Okay. Oh, it was very hard. No denying, it was very hard. So when we met Pak Chi Hong, we wanted to build a home for him, but we were in our early 20s. We were not part of a big development agency, and we wanted to build it ourselves. So there were a lot of big barriers already in the way. But what we did was we rallied. The first thing we did was we put a pitch together, went to a lot of different corporates, the big developers of the country, and asked them whether they'd be willing to participate in this particular program. And we had a lot of rejection. It was just straight up no's all around. And so we thought, okay, why don't we ask friends and family? And we extended the invitation to friends and family to donate and to support us in that first round, and managed to fundraise for that home. Then after that, we continued pitching to different corporates, and we found that, and we've actually pitched through the CSR angle, use your CSR funds with us. And that's where we found there was actually a very big limitation when it comes to CSR budgets. It's very fixed. It's usually very small, and it's usually attached to, unfortunately, very often it's attached to a PR campaign. So it's not genuine. So we were facing limitations in terms of acquiring a budget that was suitable for us to be able to build homes. And so we decided, okay, what are some areas in which customers would find more value? Where would corporates be willing to participate more deeply? And that's where we actually changed the business model to look at team building. Because in HR, human capital and development, there's a much bigger budget, and you can actually go deeper in the learning of the people who go for those builds or build with you. So when we changed the business model and reframed our pitch, that's when we were able to really connect with different clients on a deeper level, instead of just CSR, where they may not see themselves as participators. Coming from that team building angle, it became a lot more real to people. And that's how we were able to switch from something that we felt was a huge barrier, the narrative of the CSR, and move into team building together with us. And that was actually one of the first success stories for us in being able to acquire clients and get those contracts in.
Yep. Great, thanks for sharing. I think what I can pick up from that is, yes, you want to build homes, but also how do you finance this? How do you find the right budget to look for the right stories towards? Yeah. Right.
Yeah, and there are real limitations and real restrictions as to what people can and cannot do. So you find the creative ways to get around that.
Yep. How about you, Nadir? Because I think masa kecil, if I want to book a lorry, I would stick out the stiker dekat tiang lampu, which looks a bit shady. So how did you acquire your first few customers, I mean, back in the days?
Okay. So just to share what we do, right? So the lorry, we're actually a platform. We connect customers to owners of lorries, vans, and pickup trucks. And I mean, the simplest concept to explain it is something like Grab, but for trucks. So earlier on, when we started a business, it was more of something like Expedia, right? So it was a comparison website. So we would actually recruit partners, our driver partners, and then have them to put their pricing on our website, and we become price takers. But there was some problem with that model in the sense that some people will just go direct to the partners once they find out the name. So we moved to a more Grab/Uber model. The first customer that we got was essentially due to advertising on Google Ads, right? It was an Iranian customer by the name of Elin Safari. And her name is immemorialized in our conference room. So our conference room is called the Safari Conference Room, right? So she was our first ever customer. It was a Pindah Rumah customer. And I still remember, since it was the first customer, I actually went down and went down to the house and wanted to see this person because from her WhatsApp profile picture, she looks good looking. Tapi I did not manage to see her. I managed to see her father, a big burly, character, right? So he was, cakap pinggang like this, watching us do work. But yeah, that was how we got our first customer, which was Google Ads. But I want to share our first customer when it comes to corporate, because actually, a few months into the business, we realized that, okay, pindah rumah is good, but how often can you force someone to pindah rumah? Once a year, twice a year? That is, even twice a year is really pushing it, right? So you won't really move house, often, right? So we realized that the opportunity here is in corporate. And this is where, when it comes to B2B or corporate to corporate relationship, corporate to corporate segment, you need to have relationship, right? So how we got our first business, which was essentially delivering Padini's items to Vinci, to Padini, to PDI and all this, was through our connections and relationship in our previous job, right? So one thing that I always tell people, especially newer entrepreneurs, please don't burn bridges. As you go from different career paths, right, you will meet people. Please don't offend people. I mean, yeah, please don't burn any bridges. Just be nice to people. Right? Be nice, because you don't know who's this person is going to be. You never know. If I'm mean to Aiman, what if one day he becomes prime minister?
I remember.
You tell me, then I'm not going to be able to build any relationship with him, right? So that's my advice to all of us here, which is, don't be evil. Don't be evil. Be nice to everyone and build relationships, and don't burn any bridges, because if you want to become an entrepreneur, these relationships will be very, very useful.
Definitely. I guess my next question is to Nashra. So Nashra, because you ada banyak agents under you, which their success is your success. You have to make sure that they can also achieve success on their own. And I nak tanya macam, when some of these when some of your agents start reach their target or whatever, what are the usual common mistakes that you see when this happens? Because I think this is the core of the business kan, macam their success is your success. So if they fail, you pun fail. So why would these failures datang?
Alright. Okay, so I rasa ramai agent dah start tengok this session. Okay. Okay, so basically, as for now, we have like more than 2,000 agents all over Malaysia, right? Then basically, what we do in our circle is we do have this massive online training almost, I can say like almost every day, right? We have a trainer under me, and we do this almost daily, I think, online training. So what can I say is the difference between the top agents and those orang cakap apa agents yang biasa is basically their attitude lah. Their attitude tu ni memang nampak jauh beza. Okay, so these top agents ni basically mereka memang ada mental warrior, alright? So when I say, okay, you do this, you do this, you do this, you do A, you do C, okay je. Okay. Beza. So, yang bukanlah gagal, tapi yang tak berapa nak sukses ni, basically dia akan macam ni. Ni alasan-alasan ni lah selalunya yang kita dengar. Tak boleh, anak I tak sihat. Kalau dia dah mompreneur, dia akan cakap anak lah. Anak I tak sihat, suami I tak bagi, things like this. Dia akan nampak macam tak boleh, I bekerja, I buat part time je, masa I limited, things like that. I student, tapi I tak ada masa, I kena buat assignment, macam tu. So, kita nampak difference di segi dia punya attitude. Kalau yang top agents ni basically of course, they have a lot of challenges. They have a lot of difficulties. They have a lot of kids. Ada yang 5 anak, 6 anak, you know. Tapi dia nampak it's okay. I can manage. I can manage my time. I can manage my kids. I even can manage my husband, you know. So dia punya desire, dia punya orang cakap apa? Saya selalu sebut dengan mereka, saya sebut api tu bukan macam mancis. Kalau yang agents yang basi-basi yang fail ni selalunya api dia macam mancis. Contoh, just like first week joining the business and tak ada orang customer beli, tak boleh lah, this business is not for me, I dah down. Okay, and different with these top agents, it's okay, tak apa, buat lagi, nampak tak dia punya karakter tu berbeza. So I selalu cakap dengan punya agents, different orang yang percaya, orang tak percaya ni dalam, even in my agents, kita tengok api dia macam mancis, baru orang tak nak beli sikit dah down bukan seminggu, sebulan, setahun downnya, right? Tapi beza dengan orang yang agents yang top agent semangat ni, api mereka macam hutan terbakar. Hutan tu terbakar, nyala-nyala api dia. But difference with this agents yang free, api dia macam mancis, baru je you cucuk sikit, hilang dah api tu. Basically macam tu. So I can see dari segi attitude. And number 2 is kita boleh nampak perbezaan for those agents yang sukses ni. Satu dari mentor warrior, lepas tu yang kedua ni dia ada dia bercakap passion lah, okay? Dia ada passion. So dia buat business tu, dia buat business dari hati, dia buat business tu sungguh-sungguh, okay? So I always cakap with my team, even though this is not your product, I mean like you are not the founder of this product, but you can act like this is like your own business, this is like your own product. You can act walaupun dia bukan produk you, tapi you kena feel seolah you ada soul, you know? You kena soul seolah-olah produk ni adalah you lah founder produk ni. You menjiwai apa yang you buat and you akan dapat result yang sangat luar biasa. Alright, so I want to share my little experience before I start my own business ataupun my own product. I used to sell orang lain punya produk for like 10 years. And every product yang I jual, kita jual tu seperti seolah-olah itu adalah bisnes kita. Right? Sampai reporter datang nak interview, Astro datang nak interview, dia ingat kita ni owner. You know, padahal kita bukan owner, kita hanya agent biasa. So ni sangat-sangat penting bila kita menjual produk orang, walaupun as a agent, kita kena letak soul dalam diri kita. Seolah-olah ini adalah bisnes kita, ini adalah produk kita. Dan insya-Allah, dia ni akan buat, you akan